going on, guys? If you guys would like and subscribe, that really helps us out.
Don't like and
Thomas
subscribe
again.
right now. You're gonna Fortnite's gonna get you. You don't want that because Fortnite's a bad dude.
Really bad.
Bad man. Bad man.
He'll ski on your yeet.
Yeah,
Okay,
you'll be
so let's
SSM.
start out with this. I could say I could say that the beginning was awful. Like first, they're like they're flying around with the broom, right? Grandma's going crazy. Granny was flying around, and Joe with the shenanigans. Guys, if you don't know, Joe's Wolf. We just call him Joe because it's funny. Because
Yeah.
that's the one only
Yeah.
It's the
one of the
same
things about the
Joe
name.
is
voice
his actual
actor.
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it looked bad. It honestly looked like when I'm playing Roblox and I create my world. I plant copy and paste tree here. I copy and paste tree here. Like you could see the end of the box when they were flying.
I will say for me, in the beginning, it it jumped right into the plot, and I can't say that I'm mad about that. Had a it didn't have the build up, but um, it didn't have like it wasn't going away from the plot. You knew what the plot was. It had
Yeah.
that going. I will say, Thomas, you mentioned this when we were watching it. They kind of had like that wannabe Shrek thing in the really beginning though, like before
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
they had the storybook. What I was saying though is, other than that, in the beginning, the I personally wasn't a fan of how the squirrel was like super hyper,
Oh yeah.
acting like he was on drugs right away. Like
Yeah.
that
Cause
was a bit much for me.
yeah. Especially when the frog was when the frog he said when the frog was like, oh, I have no idea what it's saying. It's like the audience doesn't either. So that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
and
just not great.
it feels like that character had no effort in his like how a voice actor like they have a unique voice. That's why in the role. It's literally sound like
hmm
someone just put a squeaker modifier on a random guy's voice and had him talk fast.
Honestly.
Instead of like having like a unique speaking
Yeah,
voice, it was just him talking.
Yeah.
I can't
I don't know.
imagine being like a professional in that field of like voice acting and then being asked to do that role just for them to add like more
Mhm.
than Travis Scott auto tune.
And I think we did already mention that we only liked the Joe character or like the Wolf character because it was the voice of Joe. Like we could just kind of enjoy it among ourselves rather than actually enjoying like the movie part of it. It was
Yeah.
like the character it wasn't great. And then going over the main character, which was honestly the worst character in my opinion, Meg. Meg. Meg was Meg was terrible.
We Red, the main character, Little Red Riding Hood. They just call her Red. We called her Meg.
Trash.
Partially something to do with her being trash, and also because, well, that Joe connection. We just figured, might as well.
That's all.
After Grandma gets kidnapped, we get a glimpse of Red at fighting Shek. We call him Shek.
Yeah, Shek. Yep.
He
Uncle
was
Shek.
he was an ogre. At least it looked like he was
He was
green.
funny.
He's big.
It's funny a little bit.
He was funny, but
Oh
we
my
call
God,
him
Carrera, what
Shek
you
because it was like Shrek, I guess. That was where the first part of the movie for me was like, that was pretty freaking unrealistic and crazy. Is when she used her cape
It's
to
stretched.
like save
What the
herself.
heck?
Yeah, and it like stretched like 50 feet or whatever. My biggest problem was that the cupcakes that she had in her basket stayed intact. That got to me, man. I was like, how is that even possible?
And like another thing with this is more forward in the movie when we go to the city. It's like some animals, the unrealistic factor. Some animals stand on all two, like 2 feet. Some animals stand on four.
hmm
That's inconsistent. That's unrealistic. It's a kids movie, but you need some realism in the movie. You can't just break your own thing. Like, are the four-legged animals equal to the two-legged animals, or is it like they're pets or something? Is it like, um, It's like Mickey Mouse, where Pluto is on 4 legs and then Goofy's on two, but like they're both dogs. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's one of my big takeaways. Oh my.
Yeah, after we see Red kick that Shek's booty, we
Big
find
booty.
out we go to this freaking weird.
It's like some League of Grannies. Like the League of
Yeah,
Assassins,
and they
something grannies, like Kung Fu or whatever. Like I don't know.
and they have to learn how to bake, I guess, and self-defend. It was weird. But Red finds
Buffalo.
out that her grandma had gotten kidnapped, and then she joins HEA with Wolf and
Oh
the
yeah.
Frog.
Oh yeah, like the,
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Happily ever after.
and then like
which
they go to this casino and Humpty Dumpty, he gets mad, I guess, or I don't know.
that's a giant.
Beef, whatever, big boy. He's like, oh,
B5
what are you gonna do? Yeah, and then he throws rhinos around like they're rag dolls, right? The harp's not even moving. He's just
Oh
sitting
yeah.
Yeah.
and
He's
jumping
just
around. It's like,
yeah.
okay.
And that was one of my problems. I couldn't figure out if the movie was supposed to be like a Zootopia type of movie, whereas like animals all over the place, or there was this certain mix between animals and humans. It was kind of all over the
Like
place. Like
freaking
there's
objects. Like
yeah, there's
harp
giants,
guy.
objects,
Mhm.
animals.
Like, did it just not eat me, or is like,
It was supposed to be like
oh,
the happily ever
fairy
after,
tale?
right?
Mm,
Yeah.
Fairy
Like,
tale, yeah.
mhm.
But
yeah.
yeah, like what you guys are saying, it had like what we saw like a few humans other than Granny, Red.
Yeah.
Like other than that, you saw very few amount of humans, and
Mm-hmm.
you saw a lot more animals and other stuff like that. So yeah, it
Yeah.
does put into question like, is it even where are we at here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Because there were a lot more animals than there were humans, and between like fairy tales and things, there's gonna be
It's a lot more humans.
yeah, there's gonna be a lot more humans. So we weren't sure where the philosophy was gonna go in there.
In Hoodwinked Too, after Wolf and Red get together or whatever, and they're supposed to help find the granny, they go to the bunny. I forget his name. The evil bunny from the first Hoodwinked. He's in jail, and the first thing that comes out of his mouth is "Hello, Clarice." And for any kid watching, they have no idea what that's referencing.
I had no idea
Hello,
what that was
Clarice.
referencing, and I'm 16 years
Yeah,
old. So.
yeah. I mean, it's "Hello, Clarice" is a reference to a horror movie called Silence of the Lambs, which it should not be mentioned at all in a movie like this. For that to be in there, it seemed very stupid to me, because what kind of kid is going to be like, hey, I know
The
that
alibi is tripping around.
they're not.
Yeah, yeah. Like making like a horror reference and stuff, and it just doesn't make sense. It does not make a lot of sense. Or toward the target audience. Like, that's what I was
Yeah.
talking about. A lot of those, like a lot of the, because they made a ton of references in that movie. They made a ton of references, and a lot of them kids would not understand at all. So they were kind of just random,
Exactly.
just throwaways.
Except that one part when the music hit, that was kind of fire. Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Yeah, but that was a
fire,
ripoff,
guys.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a remix, guys.
Sorta,
It was, yeah. Mm-mm-mm.
Couldn't even use
I'm
the original
actually-
song. Another reference is I don't know if this is a fact. Don't quote me on this, but the granny, at least from my eyes, the first thing I thought was that her suit was to resemble the main character in Kill Bill. That's not a
Yeah,
fact, but it looks very similar,
Mm-hmm.
and that's also another reference to I believe, rated R movie. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that-
imagine.
if that is the case, then that also is something that doesn't make any sense.
Hmm.
For me, the movie had one of my problems with the movie was it went against its own logic. Because obviously this is an animated movie, this is a kids movie. It's supposed to have it's
It's
fake,
supposed to be like
obviously, so
unrealistic and fun. Yeah.
yeah. But the movie went against its own logic, and I would say that any, 8-year-old anywhere around there, any kid that's watching it will say the same thing, honestly. For example, Red is trying to infiltrate, was it the castle or whatever? She's like 32 floors up,
Mm.
holding onto the glass window, and she falls all the way down to the floor with the glass on top of her, and she's fine. And then later in the movie,
She gets whacked once and
She-
she freaking acts like she's dying.
well, not to mention, not even the fact that she just whacks them, or that she just gets whacked by them, but she also takes them down like 5 minutes before that.
Yeah.
So
Like
that's
I
so
feel of
good, man.
diabetes.
Honestly, like the scene where she was fighting Shek and she went over the edge, that I hated that. I hated that so much because she went all over the edge, freaking 5 minutes down there to get her freaking cupcakes.
Facts.
While Shek was trying to beat her, he could have just cut her. He could have just cut her head down.
Fact.
But he literally just sat there and let
bad,
her
bro.
do everything.
What's that?
So
That's true.
that was really messed me up.
I wouldn't 100% hold that against them, though.
Yeah, I
because,
mean, I
like-
get it. But it's just,
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the more kid movie things that one didn't bother me as much, but I could see why it would bother you, or anyone watching.
Another thing to
Uh,
add is, you know how the villain with the mask on and how it was the granny's like second fiddle or something?
the witch.
I don't understand, like, so you're mad because you're second fiddle to one of the greatest grannies in the world. So you
Pretty
go
much
on a
the
rampage.
greatest.
Yeah, you pretty much go on a rampage to get the recipe for a truffle? Like a
Oh, yeah.
superpowered
If-
truffle? I didn't really understand
This wasn't
Oh.
mentioned, but the main idea of this movie was the bad guys wanted this secret truffle that made your powers, apparently gave you like powers and made you bigger and stronger and better. That was the main thing.
trash. God dang. Diabetes is not helping.
Oh, another thing was I hated the fourth wall reference. That was so dumb.
Oh yeah.
Witch and Granny break the fourth wall. The witch is talking about
Oh,
her
yeah.
master plan, and Granny was like, "Why do you need this? Why are you telling me? I already know," or something like that. I've already been through it.
Oh, sweet.
And the witch was like, "Because this is my moment. This is my big moment. I need to talk about it." Something
Yeah,
like
she was
that.
all like, let me tell
If
my
you-
story. That's how-
Yeah, it was.
um,
This one
it was
pissed
like-
me off more than
that one was
anything.
completely unnecessary.
It was. But what pissed me off even more than anything, when Hansel and Gretel have the grandma, and they're like, "You've been hoodwinked
Yes!
too."
I was gonna say that.
That was
oh my
terrible.
god, that was bad. And then it's like,
That
you
was
been hoodwinked
terrible.
too, and like, the bear actually played a really big role in the first movie, and that's probably why the movie got such a bad review because it wasn't enough bear. He was like
okay.
kind of the bad cop. Like he was kind of like the bad cop. Like no, this way. That wolf is bad news, bro, or something like that. And if we had more him in the movie would have been better. All we had to do was dance, and he needed to do more than dance. He needed to do his bear
You
thing.
didn't like his dancing?
I mean, his dancing was kind of hot. Like, don't get me wrong, it was hot, but it wasn't hot enough. I think that's the part where the movie messed up.
That's the moral of the story. The bear's dancing was not hot enough.
Okay.
Well, that's it, guys. That's a wrap. How you guys
That's
feel
it.
about the title?
Dude.
When Hoodwinked Too, Hood vs. Evil. The title was okay. I
Oh,
feel like
yeah,
the title
but,
was too much because I get Little Red Riding Hood, but she wasn't even the main protagonist. Like Chris said, She was a terrible
I
protagonist.
feel
She's
like
the worst
yeah.
protagonist ever. Worse than
She
Swifty. Swifty at least, I don't know,
yeah.
something about him.
It's like she didn't
I
have a
apologize to
big enough
Swifty.
role in the movie. Yeah, honestly, Swifty was a much better character. Noah asked me mid movie if I would rather watch Arctic Dogs than this, and I said absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Like
That
this,
movie was not enjoyable.
like
That's
like
the
halfway through the
problem.
movie, we started just like, oh, when is this over? Like, when is this gonna be over with? This is bad.
The ending was so rushed and bad. The ending was like 5 minutes. So this is pretty much what happened, guys. Oh yeah, we should have said spoiler warning because this spoilers. The Hansel and Gretel eat the truffle. They get big, right? And then they're destroying everybody, right? And then they throw a bus into the sky. The bus perfectly lands on a needle. And then they're on this
Yeah.
weird balancing thing, which I guess they're trying to make like a compromise in the movie, like, oh, I actually like, I don't hate you or something. So they each walk towards the
Yeah.
middle.
I love you, Joe.
And that didn't make
I love you too, Meg.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense because this is a grown wolf and a squirrel, like, and then Granny and Little Red Riding Hood on the side or something. This was supposed to cause perfect balance. That doesn't make sense, but it is a cartoon, so whatever. But
Yeah.
then, they eat the truffle. Like Hansel and Gretel
Ah.
eat the truffle again, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry." They get extra big. They get stuck. That is the worst boss fight I ever seen in my life. They didn't even do anything.
Yeah,
Like they didn't all work
exactly.
together
Like
and triumph
it,
or
like
anything.
it,
Just
it didn't.
stuck.
Yeah, it didn't end with them actually like beating it, like defeating any villains or anything. They ended up just getting fat and getting caught. That was one of the worst movie endings that I've ever seen.
I'll say that the best part towards the ending, not necessarily the best part in the ending, but towards the ending was. And this would honestly, I just say this because this is a kids movie. Personally, I didn't see it to be like that good, but for a kids movie, it set its purpose pretty well, and that was when
Yeah.
the witch and the spider become kind of like friends, and this evil spider turns good. That was something that I've seen in a lot of kid movies.
I wish they did show a little bit more of like when they did compromise, but I mean, other than that, it wasn't terrible.
Let's go! Let's talk about our favorite parts. Out of this terrible movie, what was the best part? And I'll go, for me, I have to give it to the goat. The goat with the banjo.
The goat.
there's
The goat.
there's
The
a
goat was
goat
fire.
with the banjo. He comes in and he's singing this song randomly. It doesn't even make sense. But he's just singing with a freaking banjo, and then somehow he like survives an explosion. And he did it like 4 times in the movie.
Mm-hmm. He's good. He's a good running joke.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah. I'll go
Yeah.
next. My favorite
one
was
of-
the goat.
alright.
No, my bad, Chris. I mean,
You
it was the
good,
goat
you good.
and the bear. The bear didn't even have a line. But I thought, like in the back, he was like a background. Like he didn't have any lines. He probably didn't even matter. Probably wasn't even a cast. But when he was dancing and throwing that bunny or whatever around, that was funny. Yeah, that was my favorite part.
Yeah. All right. One of my favorite parts was when like those the yodelers. I love it when like the girl came in and started like freaking sitting on him. Like, oh, that was funny. That was a good.
Because
good
she
time.
was like the
Quality.
size of Shrek, by the way.
That was a quality part of the.
First, I would like, before we give our final ratings, I'd like to apologize to Arctic Dogs. I didn't realize that you're not a 2.5 anymore. After watching that, I can't give you that low of a rating. I apologize to Swifty. You're better than Red.
Nice.
I don't want to apologize to
Incredibly
PP. You
better.
still were useless.
Oh, I do want to say the villains in Hoodwinked 2 were better than the villain.
Better villains.
Oh yeah, the Hansel and Gretel's face expressions were so freaking whack, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Nice.
they were so weird looking.
All right, guys. Final ratings.
I'm gonna have to go with the 2. 2
Let's see.
out of 2 out of 10,
2 out of 10?
which makes you apologize to Arctic Dogs.
Oh my god. Dude. 3 out of 10. Yeah, that movie's trash. Movie's garbage. I'm actually being optimistic, giving it a 3 out of 10, just because I want to be the guy with good ratings. It probably deserves, yeah, 3 out of 10. Yeah.
If I were to give that movie a rating, I'm gonna give it a 22%.
So we got a 3, 2.2,
The
and 2,
2.
right? That's
Mm-hmm.
3, 5, 7.2 out of 30. Okay, whew, that's bad. So what I got is Hoodwinked 2, piece of shit versus ass cheeks.
Good one, all yours.
Hoodwinked is a piece of shit, but it's also versus ass cheeks.
No, you beat him by 1 point.
Like it was made in like 2000, like 2003. And when it was made in like 2000, oh my, the movie looked trash. Oh, it looked like Play-Doh.